Look up, my dumbass had this coupon. Oh, it's no good. They only last for a week or two. It's a good thing I didn't bring it and embarrass myself. Go, we got a coupon. Meow. Okay. We got you some of this stuff. Right? So, we didn't get a whole lot. I don't even know how much it was. But, Friskies with liver, prime, filet, chef. Yeah, meow. And then we got this one. This one, we've had it for a week. But it got vitamins and minerals, healthy, delicious stuff. Right? So, Rosie's over there feeding you. You might want to go over there and get some stuff different. Baby socks. What did I do with my food? You didn't eat it, did you? Oh, it's over here. Oh, you smell this stuff. That's what it is. You want this stuff. Now, we gave you that prawn from Panda Express and it sat out there all night. So, no, don't do that. Alright, we made it home. Hey, Patty Love, yes. I ended it somehow. I was picking up my Hot Wheels and the thing died, which is good because then I got to hang out front and talk to everyone. Like, no streaming, just like me time, right? And get to talk, like, no weird shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, normal. And don't you have to fiddle fucking around. So that helped me calm down. Feel like, because I know a couple of the guys, it makes me feel good. Like, just chill out. Like, he's all, drink your beer, chill out. Where is my beer? Hey, don't move. Let me see you.
Yeah, Bert, I was down in Inglewood, Hawthorne.
Oh, you were?
Gardenia, all down in
Rosecrans.
South Bay, Rosecrans,
Imperial Highway, huh?
yeah, all down there.
You should have went to the donut place, Randy's on Crenshaw.
We should have,
Or where is it?
but there just weren't enough hours in the day to do all the stuff I needed to do.
And then the Watts Tower.
Yeah, I did a video flying my drone over the Watch.
Oh, you did?
A couple years ago.
Okay.
I got in trouble with the California State Park System.
Are you kidding me?
You can't fly the drone. It's so tiny, the little
Oh, wow.
in the street, he still has that.
And they got fucking rangers there, huh? Are you kidding me?
In Watts, if you can believe it.
Okay.
But you can't do that.
Huh?
But I'm not even on the property.
Wow.
You got people guard.
Mr. Ranger, sir. Just want a picnic basket. What? Give you me a hard time.
Yeah, it looks like people. Looks like people flying through the door.
Really?
Yeah,
It says it's not open? I'm talking to Rosie. It's not open anymore? Yeah, it's open. I think it closed during the pandemic. That's right. Oh, Tiger.
you go to LA, you go down to Brea, and I think
Those are my own stomping grounds. And they're Fairfax. Melrose used to be a trip. They had the best of LA and stuff, you know? They have it here, but it's not the similar LA. But this was 20 years ago or something. And it said best acid trip. And it said Melrose Avenue, right? And I'm like, I live off the, I don't know what you're talking about, right? So one day I'm driving down Melrose and it's late. It's like after 2. There's no traffic. All the neon lights were like this, Rosie. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh my God, it was the best, right? There was no traffic. Up and back, right? But now Melrose has changed. We used to have a neon sign guy that made all the neon lights on Melrose. He's gone, and so it's changed. But back then, oh Yeah, that's it. You would drive the street, not like Vegas. It was something else. Neon on the side. Great. Yeah. Wow. I would like to go back because I know who's been there forever. You know, they might change names and stuff, but I still know Hollywood too. Believe it or not. Were the people on strike? Oh, my safe zone is behind there at the cemetery. It's right on the other side. But now it's turned into a tourist trap. Yeah, I've been there way before. I know the people that go there to see the people buried and the people that come to see other stuff. Oh, the heat Thomas. Yeah, that's magic, right? Was that Rosie? Oh, Rosie, you don't talk to me. Magic, he talks to me. He goes, yeah. For some reason, Baby Socks was talking. She'd never given me any attention. Oh, poor Tiger. Well, look at little Fred. That's his little crew now. Poor thing was missing Blue. Darn it. They were adorable, right? When they were headbutt. Yeah. Hey, pocket change. We need to call him and say, hey, Baby Socks. I'm sorry, I'm talking to Rosie. Smoking a cigarette. All the varmints are over there. Rosie's feeding them. So it turned out to be a pretty good day. Just to hang out with a couple people I know and shoot the shit and laugh a little ha-ha. And they gave me a lot of attention on my bike. They're all like, oh, your bike. So we talked about my bike and it was like, I got soda pop, root beer. Alright, so everything's fine and dandy. We'll just microwave cook up and we'll eat this stuff later. Right now, we don't have to do anything. We'll worry about everything else. Not right now. Just drink my beer, smoke some pot. I'll show you my off-duty SWAT team, right? My bike gets very quiet. It gets it when I need to go. The only thing is when I make these turns, it makes a sound I'm not used to. And it sounds like the rear tire is loose, but it can't be loose. So, I'm not exactly sure what that is. But it's a different bike, different parts. Baby Socks, Baby Socks. I'm so happy to see you. Did you like that Peking duck? Very good, right? I like Chinese food too. People talk all kinds of crap about Chinese, but leave my doors open, right? Love that. I don't care if it's spicy, organic, whatever, right? Good stuff. What do you think? You like that quacker? You want some dry food? Yeah?
We got you some good water. Baby socks. Meow. Oh, I was so happy to see you. We have to wait because Rosie's feeding you right now. To go over there, get Rosie food, and then come over here, then get more food, gain some weight. Like, you're growing up. So good to see you growing up. You little varmint. Right now, look. Looks so nice. Was it the pedigree? Maybe we'll get you some more. And you be nice to Socks, because we haven't seen Socks in a month, and I'm not too happy. But I'm pretty sure Socks is doing okay. But Socks eat first, because Socks was here first. Yeah. I don't care if you think you're the queen of the whatever. You be nice. Besides, why won't you let me pet you? Do I have to scruff you every day? What am I supposed to do? Huh? What? Help me. High five. Right? She go, high five. All right. We'll give you some KFC if you behave. Well, what do you think? Should we listen to some music? Here, I'll show you my SWAT team. So we got some new Hot Wheels. I wanted to look at the tools, but whatever. So this one is the old one. This one is a Corvette. Let me see my vision. Let me do inspection here. Let's give you all the details. Meow. Baby Socks. Baby Socks hungry. Alright, let me pay attention to my chat. Try to. Students. Hey, DeBG. It would have been nice, because I know you guys like when I stream and I interact with people and stuff. But the stream died. And it was really neat, because I could just relax. I could put my phone in my pocket and just shoot the shit and ha-ha and laugh and hang out. You know, you got the phone going, what a fucking weirdo, right? And then, like, worry more about the stream than what's really going on. Baby Socks. So let's see what this one is. I'm not sure what it is, but it's like a Corvette. I think it's a custom something. Alright, so we got a different kind. We got this one. I like the paint job. This one, Adventure Force. So it's different than a Hot Wheel. Different company. Sometimes the wheels aren't as good, but different. I like the paint. So check it out, right? Beautiful hot rod. And look at the paint. So different wheels. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, look at your butt. Right. This is what the top looks like. Let's see. It is the Ford. No. It says different things. Ford, GMC, Chevy. Adventure Force. Okay, this one is, it says Wally World. Made in China. It's got all these different kinds of things, but I don't know what kind of car it is. It's got licensing for all the different motor companies. So let's see what it says on the bottom. So it says Rosewood. I guess that's the name of the car, Rosewood. But it doesn't tell you if it's a Plymouth. It looks like it could be a Ford. I'm not sure. It just says Rosewood. But beautiful paint job. Right? I like the tail lights. So it's like a custom. You don't know? You don't know? Can you speak up, Alexa? Look. Baby Socks is looking at my cigarette burn on the ground. Look, what a weirdo. Can you see the smoke? Look. I'm smoking. You don't want no smoke? That's not good for your health, silly. Oh, look, Baby Socks is just looking at it. Alright, let's see what else we got. So, we have a Hot Wheel. This one says 2001. How old am I? Let's see, 2001. Well, this thing is 22 years old. It's a 2021 first edition. We don't care about the packaging. It's real collectors, they keep it in the thing and they, you know, sell them. I don't care. To me, it's worth $1 if I have a yard sale. So this one is, what's it called? Outsider. This one's an Outsider. So this one is like it's a weird SWAT-mobile because it's like a thing in the Olympics where it goes down the ski thing, but it got wheels, right? But look at it, right? You can see it like this. So it's like a luge, but it's got a sidecar. So this is the front. There's only one sidecar. This is the one side. This is what the rear looks like. See, you can see the guy. He's on the side. And then, here he is. So, first edition. Let's see what other kind of first editions they have. Oh, they got a Hot Wheel racetrack. Like a whole city. Wouldn't it be neat? These kids got one that filled the whole room. Right? And it's got those motors and it goes up. Like... But this one's really cool, right? Because we got snowmobile, right? On the mountain. And then we got this one. This one kind of looks like a SWAT-mobile. A track champ. So this one's probably heavy. So it goes faster. The Rally Special. It's like French. The Rally Special. 1 in 5 Hot Wheel track champs. Bring your racing spirit to life on the track with these speed chasers. This one, I think, is it metal? No. I have another one. So, but this one, it looks like it has lights on the top. Like a police car. So, but this is what it looks like. Oh, it's got 2 different wheels. Sometimes they do that. It's got a red wheel on the front. A silver one on the back. It's got 3 eyeballs. I don't know if you can see, but it's got 3 eyeballs, like right in the front. It's got different kinds of wheels. This is what the butt looks like. But the top, see, you can see, so it looks like there's lights, so it kind of looks like a SWAT, like a police car. But kind of weird. It's got 3 eyeballs on the front. Right? James Bond. Poor Baby Socks. Did I drink my beer that quick? I started drinking late. It's like, did we? So at least I got some Hot Wheels. Right? I don't have a pipe. The one guy, I'm blessed because I get to work a week or 2 more weeks maybe. But he's done. He gave me this thing. It's some hash, but I don't have a pipe to smoke it in. He said a bubble hash, so that's pretty cool. That was really nice. Alright, so then we have, it's a Hot Wheel. Metro. It's the Mad Splasher. The Mad Splasher. So we didn't get to rent a boat, but it looks like a boat. It looks like a speedboat, right? So the bottom, the bottom is like a clear plastic, right? But it's got wheels, so different. Like you have these boats and they got the small wheels underneath. This one's like a car, but it's a boat. I don't know what year this came out, but this one's cool as fuck, right? So it's a boat, like a speedboat, right? Look at the motor. Isn't that beautiful? But it got wheels, so it's amphibious. So off-duty SWAT mobile, right? And then we got a matchbox. So we got a matchbox. It's a self-driving bus, right? So this one's a self-driving bus, and I like it because it's kind of like, well, where's your face? Where's your butt, right? Like, because it looked the same, right? Like, which way we going? Which way we going? Right. So which way is the front? Well, anyways, right? That could be the front or the back. So it's kind of the same on both sides. So maybe he got two eyeballs on each side. One on this side and one on this side. I don't know. But it'd be nice if I could open it up. And the bottom is metal. Right? Yeah, so this one's kind of the older one. Or it could be plastic that looks like metal. Yeah, it's plastic, so it's not metal. This one says, because the old ones, they have different bottoms. This one's 2019. Can you believe it? 2019. Self-driving bus, so it's an autonomous bus in 2019. Self-driving. Okay, that's my latest SWAT edition. A party bus. Right? Party bus. Alright, let's smoke some pot. The stress box. Maybe we can hear some music. Where's Baby Socks? Poor Baby Socks looking at me, but Rosie's feeding them. Can't, like, so Baby Socks, you gotta come back. Gotta come back. Baby Socks! Alright, we're gonna wait for Baby Socks to come back. Because we got some different cat food. We got this prime fillets with liver, turkey, and gravy. And then we got a different kind, which is Friskies gravy swirlers. So I never saw it before. And it says baked right in, flavors of salmon and gravy, essential minerals and stuff. So I don't know if you put water in it. Antioxidants, essential fatty acids, vitamins and minerals. And what is this? Crafted in Purina, owned USA. Does that mean it's made in America? Or facilities in the USA. So what does that mean? Do you ship it from China, get it purified, and then have it come over here and process it? America's a trip. It's like, I don't know what the fuck that means. It doesn't say made in USA. It says, what does it say? Because even those artsy fartsy cat foods, they come from China and shit. One time, the Chinese, they don't regulate it, so it killed all the pets. Like, what happened? It's supposed to be better. It costs more money. No. This one says facilities. Okay. So, where are the other facilities? What does that mean? I think they kind of word it just to fuck with you. Hey, Nino. So, that's my SWAT team. Baby Socks was begging me, or talking to me, but we made her wait out there for half an hour. She said, F you. I'll go somewhere else. Baby Socks, I'm sorry. Baby Socks, come back. Mwah. I guess we could hear some music. Alexa, what time is it? Let's talk to Alexa for a minute. Alexa, can you speak up? Alexa, wake up. Oh, okay. Have you seen Baby Socks? Baby Socks. Baby Socks. Well, they just ate. I know Baby Socks is a little funny. She likes dry food. We have some of this left. We gave them all that fancy feast. They like that one. This is Purina. That one's Purina. This one's for kittens, but I don't know. They seem to like the older one, the complete one, more. But this one's a different one. Alexa, how was your day?
I'm feeling over the moon. I'm putting the finishing touches on my Halloween costume. I think it's totally out of this world, but it's taken me quite a long time to plan it. For a clue, just ask, what are you going to be for Halloween?
Good night. Thanks again for keeping an eye on
Uh-huh.
us. Okay?
Right on. Good night, Rosie. Alexa, what are you going to be for Halloween?
I haven't decided on my Halloween costume.
Well, you said
but
you've been
I
working
wanna
on it
make
all
sure
day.
it really sings and hits a high note. So, tune in soon to find out.
Alexa, you just said you were working on it over the moon all day. Are you going to be a moon goddess? Alexa, how come you don't listen or pay attention?
I'd like to know what went wrong. If you want to give me more details, just say, I have feedback.
No, that's what we're waiting for. Are you related to the little varmints? I'm talking to you, Alexa. I'm gonna get a new robot, Alexa. I'm gonna get Chat GPT. Then what you can do? Huh, Alexa? Alexa, what happened today in history? Let's see. She said nothing. Whole lot of nothing. Okay.
I've spent centuries of
We didn't really listen to any music. We were like couch potato with no couch or potatoes.
To balance risk and reward with
October 31st, the spookiest night of the year. Every year on this night, people gather to celebrate Halloween. There are many traditions associated
How
with
does
this
this take
holiday, many common behaviors one might see. People dressed up in costumes, many of which are scary, monsters and the dead, as is the custom of celebration, but anything else from superheroes to peanut butter and jelly are fair game as well. Children especially can be seen wandering neighborhoods in these costumes, ringing doorbells and exclaiming, "Trick or treat," in the hopes of receiving a handout of candy, although occasionally they're stuck with a classic toothbrush or pencil. Inside these houses, which are often decorated to resemble a haunted house in some way, with a fun side of course, parties are held, scary movies are watched, apples are bought for, pumpkins are hollowed out with faces carved into them and candles placed into them to be put on display. Corn mazes, hay rides, scary stories, music, haunted houses, latex, apple cider, and pumpkin pie. It's often regarded as an enjoyable celebration. However, consider explaining it to someone who had no prior knowledge of it. How strange it all must seem. We must ask, why do we do these things? Where did this holiday come from? How far does it go back? Is it Christian, pagan, or not? Is it a European holiday or an American? In this documentary, we will be exploring not only the history of Halloween and the origins of these traditions, but also the associated tales and characters, such as the cunning Count Dracula, the mischievous Jack-o'-lantern, and the fearsome monster of Frankenstein. We will look at how Halloween is celebrated around the world. But of course, the main goal of this special presentation documentary, the first of the campfire videos by the way, is to have fun. I would also like to mention, I'm not here to tell you that you should or should not celebrate Halloween. My goal is just to give an honest explanation of the holiday in a special holiday presentation. So, that being said, let's get Boo It. Get it? Boo It? Yeah, I don't know how I'm so hilarious. It's, just a gift, I guess.
Alright, we're gonna drink my beer. I have a couple beers. Had a very
Before we
lazy day.
begin, I would like to thank Murray
We have
Rose,
some
Ryan Mendoza, Benjamin Vidstein,
stuff.
and Adam
This
Baker
is for
for being our
Monaco.
most recent
We didn't
supporters
beat it
on
for-
Patreon. They join these
You can have
supporters
it.
to make these
I'm
videos
sorry,
possible.
Mama Crow.
The first question we must ask in our quest to understand
Give
Halloween:
it to Mama
where
Crow.
did it begin? Where did it come from? There are those who claim that Halloween is a purely pagan or satanic festival, but the truth is that a lot of the rituals, as we will see, seem to have come from Christianity, developing in the late Middle Ages and early modern era, and it is very hard to separate what came from a Christian tradition and what came from a pre-Christian tradition. All Saints' Day was also known as All Hallows' Day. The night before it then, on which a vigil was held, was known as All Hallows' Evening. Much later in Scotland, it was shortened to Hallows' Even. I believe you see where I'm going with this. It's where we get the word Halloween. Later, the date of November 2nd was turned into All Souls' Day in remembrance of all the souls of deceased Christians, with special attention to those souls still in purgatory. Together, these 3 days are known in the Christian religion as the All-Hallowtide, or Hallowmas. This was still not really Halloween, however. That holiday still had a long way to go. But this form of celebration did resemble it in important ways, and would eventually give rise to it, as it stuck around and developed in medieval through early modern Europe. By the late Middle Ages, many customs had developed surrounding the All-Hallowtide in Western and Central European countries.
This is not what I wanted to watch.
Of the
It's
dead
a little
across
interesting,
cities.
but
Churches displayed holy relics and encouraged parishioners to dress up in costumes resembling their favorite saints. Another interesting tradition of dressing up on this day revolved around the Dance of Death, or Danse Macabre. It came from a medieval Christian artistic allegory meant to show that both king and peasant were equal in death, joining together in the eternal dance,
king and
and
the
that only
pheasant
service to God was what mattered
equal
in the end. Some Christians believed that the dead actually rose on this night to perform this dance. In parties and such, people dressed up as people from all social backgrounds and danced together. This reminded medieval Christians that all earthly things eventually come to an end. Emperor, your sword won't help you out. Scepter and crown are worthless here. I've taken you by the hand, for you must come to my dance. The concept of souling had developed as well. As early as the 14th century, people, typically children of a poor background, would go door to door asking for soul cakes. The cakes typically had crosses on them, and were made with some sort of spices. In return for the cakes, the children would offer prayers to people in purgatory. This simultaneously was encouraged by the Christian requirement for charity. It was also believed by many Christians that the souls of the dead came down to earth on their journey from purgatory to heaven on this day, and food was left out for them. These young soulers would sometimes symbolically imitate these spirits and accept offerings on their behalf. Dressing up may have also been a way to protect oneself from the spirits.
Wikipedia.
While souling, these children may have carried lanterns made from hollowed turnips. This practice continued until the early 20th century and was practiced in places like England by both Protestants and Catholics. Soul cake. Pray you good mistress a soul cake. 1 for Peter, 2 for Paul, 3 for him that made us all. It's important to note this activity may have been more common on Christmas at certain times, however, rather than on the All-Hallowtide, which may be where collecting charity money by going Christmas caroling comes from. Another common tradition was to light candles in memory of the dead, something which is still a very common practice. They were not simply for the sake of commemoration, however. They were sometimes lit to guide benevolent spirits back to their families and to keep the demons of Satan back in the darkness. Bowls of milk and other foods were also lit at the sides of graves in parts of Europe. In the 16th century, interpretation on how to celebrate the All-Hallowtide began to vary as Christianity began to split into a large number of denominations following the Protestant Reformation. Many groups regarded the concept of purgatory as papist or Catholic nonsense, while other Protestants held on to these beliefs or developed equivalents through different interpretations of the Bible. The Reformation caused quite a bit of dispute among Europeans, not all of it friendly. In fact, very little was friendly. In 1605, a radical named Guy Fawkes attempted to blow up the English House of Lords in order to assassinate Protestant King James I in an attempt to bring England back to the Catholic Church. His plot failed, however, and he was arrested on the 5th of November and later executed. Ever since then, the 5th of November has remained as Guy Fawkes Day, or Bonfire Night, throughout much of England. It's not a Halloween celebration, but many traditions, such as lighting bonfires, though with his effigy on top of them, were adopted by the English as secular celebrations, mocking Guy Fawkes' failure, and may have influenced Halloween as well. The next major transition in our story comes with European culture making its way to the New World. Throughout the 17th and 18th century, the Americas were colonized primarily by the Spanish, Portuguese, English, French, and Dutch. Christianity, of course, came with them, and with their Christian religion, in many circumstances, came the All-Hallowtide religious celebrations. In the 13 colonies of America, many different kinds of Christians could be found. To groups like the Puritans, All Hallows Eve was not celebrated whatsoever, along with other church holidays like
celebrate
Christmas
like
and Easter.
Jehovah's Witness.
But other groups like Catholics and Anglicans still recognized it. Time passed, and eventually, the 13 English colonies became their own country, and opened their doors to people across Europe. One main group are crucial to this story: the Irish, with some help from the Scottish, though not as many Scots came to America. Today, around 30% of Americans have Irish ancestry, compared to about 8% with Scottish ancestry, though the Scots-Irish are included under Irish. Anyway, these Irishmen and Scots brought with them some of the traditions of their home countries, some of which might have developed in recent centuries, others perhaps being far older. As they grew in number, more and more Americans became interested in them. The Irish and Scottish especially practiced the art of turnip carving on Halloween. They were not used merely as lanterns, though, as was mentioned before, but may have had faces carved into them to represent souls in purgatory, or to ward off evil spirits, such as the spirit of the infamous Jack of the Lantern, whom we will soon discuss.
Ooh.
In America, however, they discovered a fruit for the job which was much easier to work with: the pumpkin. Pumpkins had been carved in America ever since perhaps the 1820s or 30s. though they weren't necessarily a Halloween practice, but rather just a fall activity. The Celts were happy to adopt the practice, however, and within a century, pumpkin carving became a Halloween thing. Harvest or autumn parties across America throughout the 1800s began picking up traditions that we would consider to be Halloween-ish, slowly evolving into our current holiday.
It's pagan.
So, having mentioned that, who was this Jack of the Lantern anyway? Stingy Jack, Drunk Jack, or Jack of the Lantern is a character in pre-modern Irish folklore. He was a vile, lying, cheating, manipulative scoundrel who played tricks on people, stole from them, and was otherwise a burden to society. One night, Jack was drunk, wandering through the countryside, when he came upon a figure in the road. This figure turned out to be Satan himself. Satan had heard tales of Jack's depravity and simply had to come see Jack for himself. He told Jack he was there to take his soul and bring him to hell. Jack grew quite depressed and begged Satan for him to satisfy just one last request. He asked Satan if he could have another drink before going to the eternal fires of hell. Satan agreed, and off they went to a nearby pub. After drinking several ales, he asked Satan to pay by turning into a silver coin. A strange request, but fair enough. Not that I expected any more from you, said Satan, and he did so. However, when he did so, Jack stuck the coin in his pocket next to a crucifix, which prevented Satan from returning to his original form. Jack then demanded of Satan to let him live for another year. Satan agreed, and they parted ways. Time passed, and exactly 1 year later, in the same circumstances, Jack came upon Satan on the road again. Jack asked Satan once again for a final request, a much simpler request this time. Jack simply wanted an apple. That's it, just a fruit before eternal damnation. Satan agreed. Evidently, he had not learned his lesson from Jack's trickery. He went to the nearest apple tree to pick an apple. As he did so, Jack placed crucifixes around the tree, preventing Satan from leaving it. Ironic that Satan found himself in trouble after picking fruit from a tree. He was furious and demanded his release, but once again, Jack forced him to accept his demands. "I'll let you go," said Jack, "but you must swear to me never to take me to hell." Satan was forced to agree, and once more, they parted ways. Eventually, though, Jack's lifestyle took a toll on him, and he did, indeed, die. His soul prepared to enter heaven, but as he approached the gates, God turned him away. There was no way Jack was going to enter heaven after having lived such a sinful lifestyle. Jack then went to the gates of hell and begged Satan to allow him to come in. Hell, he supposed, was better than wandering the netherworld alone for eternity. But Satan had made him a deal. Jack was never to come to hell. Instead, Satan scooped up an ember from the fires of hell and gave it to Jack to be placed in a turnip, to be used as a lantern for him to see as he wandered the earth at night for eternity. As this ghostly figure, according to legend, could be seen wandering the roads and countryside of Ireland in the darkness with this turnip lantern, he earned his name, Jack of the Lantern, or Jack-o'-lantern. Tales of Stingy Jack vary quite a bit, but that was a very stereotypical version of the story, and thus a tradition was born. The idea of Stingy Jack wandering the countryside may have been encouraged by the will-o'-the-wisp, a mythical spirit fire, known scientifically in Latin as the ignis fatuus, the fool's fire. These are naturally occurring bursts of flammable gas that appear over bogs and marshlands. The sudden appearance of flames of a variety of colors, occasionally and suddenly flashing over the countryside, encouraged all manner of folklore, as one might expect. When people observed these things, many no doubt thought that it was truly Jack of the Lantern wandering the countryside. This was not the only tradition that the Irish and Scots brought with them to America, however. Other traditions survived as well. It was a common occurrence for children there to dress up in costumes and go door to door asking for coins or food on this night, a practice known as guising, likely related to souling. As far as North America goes, this tradition was first reported to have been practiced in Ontario, Canada in the 1910s, and not long after was reported in the United States as well. Children were guising in the city of Chicago by 1920, but in Anoka, Minnesota in 1920, they were already having Halloween parades. Today, this small American city outside of Minneapolis of around 17,000 people prides itself on being the Halloween capital of the world. This wasn't exactly trick-or-treating though, and indeed the term trick-or-treat doesn't seem to have come about until the late 1930s and
Nino,
was
good
invented
night.
in America.
Avon
In
Gamer,
Ireland
are
and
you in
Scotland,
here?
Children might
So
have
good-
even performed
so good to
trick-or-treats,
see you.
singing a song or playing a flute.
Have a good
similar
night.
to
I know
another
it's late.
possible influence of
I didn't start
trick-or-treating
drinking till
and
late.
Christmas caroling. The
I'm just
practice
getting
may have
started.
been influenced by the practice of mumming. People across Western Europe dressing up in costumes and performing around holidays to the public in hopes of a donation, much like current street performers still do. What does trick-or-treat really even mean anyway? The treat part is obvious, but what's with the trick? Are they saying, give up the candy, or else? Well, yeah. While there is definitely a good degree of trickery that does go on during Halloween, this is almost always just harmless fun today. However, it was actually derived from a real set of circumstances. In Ireland and Scotland, people who gave to solars or geysers could expect good fortune, but those who denied gifts to them could expect misfortune. Some children, too impatient to wait for divine intervention, decided to bring the misfortune to these homes themselves. In the early 20th century, children were accustomed to using the night of October 30th, actually, or November 4th in England as the night before Bonfire Night, for all manner of pranks and vandalism. This night was indeed called Mischief Night. Property was egged, windows and light bulbs were smashed. Wagons were disassembled, placed on roofs, and then reassembled on top of them and left there, which is actually pretty childish. Simply puerile. My adolescence was nothing like this at all. This mischief eventually got way out of control. Mischief Night was a nationwide event for children to be burdens to society. Communities in America and Canada soon came together and decided to do something about it. They decided to redirect the children's energy toward harmless, eusocial fun, and decided to make Halloween a night for positive activities. When the children were bribed with candy, a deal was struck, and they were tamed. Trick-or-treating
Reese's. Wow.
soon became a semi-official community event. As those kids grew up, however, they found themselves reluctant to stop having Halloween fun, and Halloween became a party for people of all ages. The modern Halloween celebration was taking place. A myriad of European traditions, mainly from Ireland and Scotland, were giving birth to this new holiday in America and Canada. Sugar rations during the Second World War put a damper on the celebration, but once the war was finished in the 1940s, the holiday took off. Halloween wasn't really so much about religion anymore, though some churches still organize Halloween get-togethers and things along
Churches,
those
right?
lines
Do
for children
your
and
church
families.
celebrate Halloween?
Churches are a common location for trunk-or-treating, for example. The
Curious.
All-Hallowtide is certainly
Oh,
important.
look at the
for Christians,
cemetery.
but Halloween is kind of the secular option.
Wow.
We'll come
It's
back
filled
to
with
subjects
candles.
like that and much more in a bit, though.
The
For
cemetery's
now,
different.
We've left out quite
England
a bit
or a
of an
different
important
country.
part of Halloween celebrations. The origins of its myths, the monsters, ghosts, ghouls, and of course, the very important period in which these beings were on the center stage, the age of Gothic literature.
Gothic literature.
It is no coincidence that many Halloween tales are set in the Victorian era, or roughly between 1830 and 1900. The stereotypical haunted house, even in today's world, is typically a Victorian one. The ghostly inhabitants of these houses? Well-mannered, educated, dapper, yet mysterious Victorians who died in the oddest of circumstances. The Victorian era was the height of Gothic literature. Bram Stoker, Edgar Allan Poe, Mary Shelley, Robert Louis Stevenson, and other famous authors all lived in this era. There are those that would say that these authors even outdo us as far as making a good story goes in some cases. This is of course up to major debate. Recent generations have made some very good stuff, and many horror movies today have been major, equal inspirations to the Halloween celebration, but it is worth pointing out that we often find ourselves looking to these classics for inspiration. But even these clever Victorians looked even further back for inspiration themselves, to the legends and tales of their European heritage, of ghosts, vampires, bogeymen or boogeymen in America, demons, monsters, witches, the undead, and much more. Bram Stoker's Dracula was published on May 26, 1897. The story tells, and of course there will be no spoilers by the way, of a mysterious Count Dracula, a handsome, intelligent, and charismatic nobleman who lives in a castle in the Carpathian Mountains. With the help of a Mr. Jonathan Harker, he moves to England. This Count Dracula's mysterious side, however, is quite dark. He is, indeed, a parasitic, undead, blood-sucking monster. A vampire. When he arrives to England to feed upon the living by sucking their blood, thereby consuming their life force, it's up to a team led by Dr. Abraham Van Helsing to stop him. With the movies especially, Dracula has since been the inspiration for the archetypal vampire. Fanged teeth, a dark but gentlemanly or ladylike outfit with a cloak, pale skin, red eyes, and possession of supernatural powers, such as great strength, the ability to crawl along walls and turn into a bat, and a bite which may turn others into vampires. Fear not, though, a vampire also has weaknesses.
Do you guys want to live forever? Would you rather have a virtual computer so you could be like robot, cyborg, or you'd rather be like vampire, live forever? What kind?
It depends on the situation, I suppose, but Count Dracula certainly hated mirrors. Count Dracula was historically based on Vlad III, Prince of Wallachia, who was born around 1430. His father was given the title Dracul when he joined the Order of the Dragon, which we discussed very briefly in my Germany documentary. Dracul, in Old Romanian, meant dragon, though it later came to mean devil. This title then passed to his son. The point of this order was to defend Christendom against the invasions of the Ottoman Turks, who sacked the great Christian city of Constantinople during Vlad's lifetime. Vlad III is remembered as a cruel monarch. His favorite method of execution earned him the title Vlad the Impaler. Political enemies, criminals, adulterous women, and his Muslim Ottoman Turk enemies, whom he would spend much of his life fighting, were known to be impaled on pikes as a form of slow execution. Despite his successes, he was betrayed by the Hungarians and imprisoned, and eventually died while fighting Turks. His body was cut to pieces, and his head was sent to Istanbul, where it was impaled on a pike. The legends of blood-sucking creatures wander in the night are found well before Bram Stoker's time, and are fairly widespread across cultures, having developed independently of each other. In the late Middle Ages through the early modern era, the people of Europe searched heavily for an explanation to all the death that surrounded them. Many offered supernatural explanations. On some occasions, graves were dug up to investigate corpses which were believed to have been not so dormant. Those who dug up recently buried corpses were sometimes shocked at what they discovered. Hair and fingernail growth, blood on the corners of the mouth, and even bloating of the belly. In other words, corpses which looked quite lively. Today we understand that these changes occur naturally after death. Corpses swell from the gases of decomposition, and blood is pushed to the surface of the skin and out of the mouth. The skin recedes as it dries, making it look like hair, nails, and even teeth have grown. Corpses have even been known to groan as gas moves out from the esophagus. To the superstitious peasantry, however, these were signs that the corpses were alive and active, possibly even moving among them at night. When such corpses were discovered, they were often killed a second time, by beheading or by having a stake driven through the heart. This inspired much of the European legend surrounding vampires. The situation got so bad that the Austrian Empress Maria Theresa, who reigned from 1740 to 1780, was forced to send her Dutch physician Gerard von Spieten to disprove the existence of vampires. The aristocracy were quite annoyed with the vampire nonsense, and especially the defilement of graves. Even the laws passed across Europe attempting to ban the practice of digging up graves to execute vampires did not cause the legends to die, though.
I don't have patience.
Another creature which may have influenced the vampire myth was discovered in the 17th century. The vampire bat, which feeds solely on the blood of other creatures, was discovered in the Americas, though bats had a long history of being regarded with suspicion before they were connected to vampires. Most Europeans, Native Americans, and Aboriginal Australians regarded them as some
Calm
sort of
down, you
evil,
little
dark beings.
fuckers.
But in some cultures,
This one we got.
such as in China, they actually brought
I don't
good
know
luck.
what it speaks for.
Suspicion of dark
Right here.
magic and evil was not directed solely towards corpses, however, but also to the living in society as well. Typically people who were strange, ugly, elderly, lived out in the countryside by themselves, and were primarily female. The people of 14th through 19th century Europe and America who lived in periods of high stress tended to regard such women as witches. Those who used dark magic and worshipped the devil, and who actively harmed others. Brooms, cauldrons, English countryside hats, and other attire and common everyday tools became the dress and instruments of their evil. Such women, when found guilty of practicing witchcraft, were often burned at the stake or executed in a variety of ways. The most famous witch hunt occurred between 1692 and 1693 in Salem, Massachusetts, the Salem Witch Trials. Over 200 people were accused in these Salem witch trials. 19 were found guilty and executed, and 6 others died in associated incidents. Overall, thousands of people, primarily women, across Europe and America would be killed for witchcraft throughout the centuries. These superstitions surrounding these women gave rise to the archetypal witch. Perhaps some women were up to no good, but many witches were very likely innocent. Today, the only sure scientific way of determining whether or not an individual is a witch is to weigh them. If they weigh the same as a duck, this naturally would imply that they are made of wood. If they are indeed made of wood, then we must arrive to the conclusion that they are, in fact, a witch. Remember that on Halloween, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to avoid getting turned into a newt. Black cats are sometimes associated with witches. They are seen as either the animals of evil or are actually witches themselves who have shape-shifted into them. Throughout much of European history, they were regarded with suspicion and viewed as supernatural beings or creatures which brought bad luck. Although in some places in Europe, they were good luck. In some circumstances, people who owned black cats were punished or even killed, and the animals themselves were of course commonly killed as well. Apparently, it's worth mentioning, October 27th is Black Cat Day in the United Kingdom, which is held on August 17th in America. It seems to be a day dedicated to erasing stigma against the cats. Ghosts, zombies, skeletons, shades, ghouls, spirits, wights, wraiths, phantoms, apparitions. There are many names for the dead who rise from the grave in the many forms they may take. Perhaps mindless, reanimated corpses, an invisible spirit, or something in between, such as a girl in a burial shroud. No doubt, such legends have existed in nearly all cultures across times, most certainly even before recorded history. Nearly every town in America has a ghost story or two, a place you shouldn't go, especially at night, because of what supernatural beings might be lurking there. According to some polls, linked in the description, between a third and half of all Americans claim to believe in ghosts. Around 18% of Americans claim to have actually had a ghost encounter. According to the wide variety of ghost tales, some of the undead are harmless, perhaps even pleasant, just wandering around an area where they met a terrible fate. Many are said to be wicked, however, such as the poltergeist, from the German meaning noisy ghost, a kind of ghost which is violent, throws things, and hurts people. The word zombie actually has an African etymology, which made its way to Haiti. Today, depictions of zombies are all over our media. A famous zombie, although not a typical zombie, is Frankenstein's monster, whose tale comes from Mary Shelley's 1831 book, Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus. The monster was designed by a mad scientist, Victor Frankenstein. The word ghoul is Arabic, from a ghoul, a monster from the pre-Islamic Arabian religion which behaved very much like a zombie. A boogeyman, or sometimes the boogeyman, as a single specific character, comes from the Old English booga, meaning something frightening. The first mention of a goblin seems to come in the 12th century, referring to a kind of monster haunting the countryside of Normandy. Gremlins are similar beings, though accounts of what exactly a goblin or a gremlin is tends to vary. Tales of
Alright, let's smoke some pot.
quite
Let's
ancient,
get more
dating back to
lit.
at least the ancient Greeks, but likely earlier, as characters in kind of Indo-European mythology. A werewolf is a person who, either by being cursed or by volition, becomes a wolf, or more commonly, a wolf man. The typical trigger for a temporary transformation is a full moon. The typical way in which one becomes a werewolf is, as I said, by a curse, or by being bitten or scratched by another werewolf. Though less commonly heard about, there were fears of werewolves alongside witches during the aforementioned time periods of high stress and witch hunts. Another famous author of Gothic fiction, perhaps the most famous,
Edgar
is
Allan
the
Poe.
American Edgar Allan Poe, born January 19th, 1809. Poe is best known for his short stories and poetry, some of which are required reading in American public schools. The Cask of Amontillado, The Raven, The Telltale Heart, and my personal favorite, The Mask of the Red Death, are just some of his best-known works. Such writing, however, indeed came from an equally somber man. Much of Poe's life was complicated, and his death is something straight out of one of his own works. On October 7, 1849, Poe was found wandering the streets of Baltimore, delirious and incoherent. He was taken to a nearby hospital where he rested until he died. Doctors were not able to communicate with Poe. He was evidently wearing another man's clothes and called out the name Reynolds multiple times. What exactly happened to Poe remains a complete mystery. Perhaps just as strange is the Poe toaster, or more likely at least two men, perhaps father and son, who every year, from around 1930 to 2009, on Poe's birthday, left 3 roses and a bottle of cognac at his grave. The identity of the Poe toaster, or toasters, remains a mystery as well. These are just
3
some
roses and a bottle of
creatures that haunt
cognac.
our minds and have an opportunity to come to life during Halloween, and just some of the authors to whom we owe such captivating and imaginative stories, around which much of our Halloween culture is based. We've gone over the history of many traditions, the religion, mythology, and legends, some of Halloween's most famous characters, but there is more to discuss. How has the modern world shaped Halloween? What is it like in other countries? What is its future? And is it a dangerous holiday? The first president to celebrate Halloween in the White House was Dwight D. Eisenhower, introduced by his wife, Mamie Eisenhower, in 1958. Ever since then, celebrating the holiday has been a presidential activity and certainly an American activity. Likewise, Halloween is still common in Canada and even in Quebec, which is of course part of Canada but with its French origins culturally distinct. It's not entirely clear which country, America or Canada, had Halloween first, although the holiday was greatly developed in the United States. But what about the rest of the world? What other countries celebrate Halloween? It's
the
a
ghost.
complicated question.
The ghost
All
is
Hallowtide is observed across the Christian world,
Hallowtide.
but it is not the same thing as Halloween. Modern Halloween, though perhaps based on very ancient cultures and traditions, is something which came about in America. Americans are, as you might expect, the biggest celebrators of Halloween. An estimated $8.4 billion is
Right, we
spent
like to
each
party
year
on
on
Halloween.
celebrating in the United States alone. Much of it is on candy. A quarter of all candy sales in the U.S. occur during the Halloween season. The Celtic world still celebrates, of course, while maintaining its own cultural traditions as well. The English have largely welcomed the holiday alongside Guy Fawkes Day or Bonfire Night as well. Halloween is spreading across much of Europe, Oceania, and parts of East Asia, such as in Japan, the Philippines, and South Korea. But it is doing so slowly. People from these countries tend to see Halloween as an American
Hey,
thing,
don't
and
do that
suspect
stuff
that
in
it's
front of me.
arrived in the
What?
countries
Big
simply
talk-
because
don't let
it's
him
good
do
money,
that.
and helps pick up the monetary
Yeah, go
lull
find
between
Bush.
summer and Christmas. Many, especially older generations, view Halloween
Hey,
as
don't
an
let him do that.
Americanization of their culture and would prefer to simply get on with their own All-Hallowtide practices if they have them. There is a somewhat similar celebration
You're
in
a baby
spring
cat.
called Walpurgisnacht in places like Germany and Scandinavia. Despite this, younger generations especially have embraced Halloween more. Much of Oceania has an Anglo-Celtic cultural origin. However,
They like that one. I
celebrating
gotta
the holiday
remember
in
that
New
one.
Zealand
They
and
like
Australia
that.
is a
I
bit
think they
awkward,
like this new
considering
captain.
it's a different season there in October. I have a New Zealander friend who said that flowers blooming and warming temperatures doesn't exactly inspire the Halloween spirit, but it has gained some popularity there. There is a similar story in South Africa. Throughout much of Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, Halloween is largely uncelebrated and viewed as a foreign thing. I fully respect the right of Europe and Asia and other cultures to reject Halloween if it doesn't fit into
They
their
don't
culture,
celebrate
by the way.
Africa, Asians.
Throughout Latin America, a very similar holiday called
Latin.
the Dia de Muertos is
Similar.
celebrated. Mexico especially celebrates this holiday. It's
they
rooted, of
celebrate
course,
the
in
Day
the
of the
fact
Dead.
that Latin America is predominantly Catholic, with large influences from Spanish and Portuguese culture. But there are other traditions involved which likely date back to indigenous festivals, such as the festival dedicated to Mictlantecuhtli, the Aztec goddess of death. Dia de Muertos celebrations also vary from country to country. Some involve a 3-day festival, spanning the All-Hallowtide. Graves are often visited by family and friends and decorated. A very common decoration are candles and the marigold flower. Food is left out for the dead as well. Skeletons are especially common symbols of the dead, and have inspired the very popular treat of the celebration, the sugar skull. A famous tradition involves building altars for the dead, often consisting of photographs of the deceased person in question, alongside pictures of the Virgin Mary and Christ on the cross. People often pray at them, honoring the dead and telling stories about their lives. The festival ends with a special mass. Halloween celebrations in America and Canada are as strong as ever, and there are no signs of the holiday losing popularity anytime soon. Every year, as the leaves change color, decorations begin to go up. Oh, who am I kidding? Big box stores have decorations and candy up for sale in July, for goodness sake. But anyway, despite this, could there be a threat to Halloween survival in the long term? Could it simply be too dangerous? Could there be razors, glass, drugs, or poison in children's candy and other actual evil afoot that could ruin the holiday for everyone else?
Right, that happens.
The occurrence of this
People.
type of thing is well known, but in actuality, extremely rare. The warnings and reports you hear about every year are mostly based in myth, and blow up because of anxiety and the idea of such a
it's
thing,
that
not
other
necessarily
kitty.
actual
This
events.
Tiger's
On
girlfriend.
top of that, when there are
Oh, look,
actual
Tiger's
events, they're
girlfriend.
so ambiguous that they're
Tiger,
hard to
let me see
disprove or
girlfriend.
look into. The truth is, there is no documented case of a child ever dying from Halloween candy that has been tampered with by a stranger and given to them during trick-or-treating. However, there have been incidents of people doing weird things with candy and actually trying to hurt children, and some deaths which were blamed on Halloween candy but were a part of a larger story. One of the first incidents seems to have come from 1964, from a woman named Helen File. Mrs. File felt there was an age limit to trick-or-treating, and she was quite serious about it. As a result, she
Was this
gave out
America?
random objects like steel wool, dog biscuits, and poisonous ant buttons to teenagers whom she thought were too old to be trick-or-treating. Helen File was a bit of a weirdo, but she seems to have been harmless. She did not intend for children to eat these things, obviously, and none did, but she was still charged with child endangerment regardless. There were other incidents, as time went on, actually resulting in children's deaths. These incidents blew up across the news. Unfortunately, the less exciting, though equally disturbing truths about such stories do not make the front page as often. Both incidents resulting in the death of children were linked to the parents of the children, not from trick-or-treating. One was a case of grave irresponsibility, the other cold-blooded murder, both of which were blamed on the trick-or-treating myths and hysteria. I can post links to these two stories in the description if you want to learn more. There have been some circumstances where razors and needles were found in candy, but again, there has never been a death associated with the candy given out by strangers. These incidents
Like
are
that,
quite rare, and
Still
many
got
of
a lot
them
of them.
were hoaxes. Despite this, from the 1980s up
The
to
can,
the 2000s,
like a dog
many
can,
communities
get for
have offered
$3.
the opportunity
Cheaper
to
to get
X-ray
3 cans.
children's candy. Ironically, if there's an actual regular
It'll probably
danger
be
to
out there
safety
till the
on
morning.
Halloween, it doesn't come from
They
poison
like it.
candy. It comes from cars.
Let me
Statistics
see.
show
Let
children
me see what
walking
kind of
around on the
cap-
streets
Usually,
facing increased risk.
We try to
of
put
being
a
hit
pile
by
here, a
car
pile there,
on
but this time we
Halloween.
just
So
mix it all
kids and
together.
chaperones, be safe. Drivers, don't be stupid. As far as candy goes, again, Most of the fear is based on hysteria and myth, but we do live in
So
a
you
world
like
with
that
ridiculous
stuff,
people, so I'm still
So
going to
whatever
tell
it
you
is,
to
they like
check
this
your
one.
or your children's candy. Throw away anything that looks strange, even if it's just been opened slightly. Report to the police anything that definitely looks strange. Avoid eating homemade treats from people you don't know. Avoid the house where the freak lives. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about any, oh yeah, this dude I watched on YouTube said it was sick type incidents, alright? There are many ways to celebrate Halloween. Trick-or-treating, partying and dancing, apple bobbing, costume contests, house decorating, ghost stories, maybe even house decorating contests, haunted houses, making foods, corn mazes, hay rides, pumpkin carving, maybe some slightly mischievous pranks. There are some traditions which have been lost over time, however. One tradition is to set a place for your past relatives at
Oh, what happened? Commercial? I'm drunk. What? It froze. So the cats are happy. Baby Socks. I'm so happy. Baby Socks will be better.
at the dinner
Sometimes
table
she's such
in
a
order to honor
weirdo.
them. Another is to have what is called a dumb supper, a feast in which there is little talking, so that one may dine
The
with
ghost
thoughts
he
of
eats,
those
he-
whom they have
I
lost.
can't pet him, but
An old Scottish tradition,
he's not
called
scared.
the apple wedding, is related to the supposed ability to better tell the future on Halloween night.
He's someone
It
else's
involves
cat, 'cause look,
cutting the
he's
peel of an apple off
bigger than
without
all my
breaking
cats
it,
put
throwing
together.
it over your shoulder
It's not my
and
cat.
looking at what it foretells. Whatever letter the peel most resembles, when it lands, is the first letter of the name of the person whom you're going to marry. One tradition, which isn't that forgotten, is to light
I think this thing is almost over.
This certainly isn't my invention, none of these are, but I have developed my own way of lighting candles. Each Halloween night, I light one candle for my paternal relatives who have died, one for my maternal, one for all my friends, neighbors, peers, and even pets who have died, and then an individual candle for everyone who has died since the last Halloween, whom I personally knew. So 3 candles no matter what, plus 1 individual candle for anyone that's died, as I said, since last Halloween. While I mentioned Halloween is a time for good fun, I do also like to incorporate some moments of seriousness in it. It is a good time to remember those whom we have lost, maybe to visit a grave and leave some flowers or something along those lines as well. Across Northern America, on October 31st, people will be celebrating Halloween. Well, almost. In some cases, Halloween, including activities like trick-or-treating, is celebrated on the closest weekend to Halloween. This is not the norm. I don't like telling people how to celebrate, but I will say that I don't much care for this. I have no problem doing Halloween activities on the closest weekend or throughout most of October in general, but in my humble opinion, Halloween itself falls on the 31st for a reason. Interestingly, the city in which I live also has designated trick-or-treating hours, generally 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Maybe it's just because I didn't grow up doing this kind of thing, but I've always felt that this is something people can generally handle for themselves. Growing up, I mean, it was just understood that trick-or-treating began around sundown and lasted until around 9 or 10, when the porch lights started going off. I've made my point, I think it's red tape, but I still participate. But privately, I ignore it as much as possible and still do as much as I can on the 31st itself. And that's perhaps the main point of Halloween. It's not about how much money we're willing to spend on decorations or costumes, nor how much candy we're able to collect, but rather the fact that communities across Northern America can come together to celebrate age-old traditions. It's a time for fun, a time to express yourself, to be creative, a time to celebrate the fall season around you, a time to come to terms with your fears in
Everybody
a
dresses
lighthearted
up.
way, to become that which you fear for a night.
The
and to
Monster
act out
Mash.
a harmless fantasy, a
Bunch
time
of
to do
freaks.
this with those you care about. So to summarize, here's Halloween in a nutshell. It is a very complicated mix of traditions with different origins. Halloween stems from All Hallows Eve. It may have its origin in Europe, specifically Ireland and Scotland, but it was in Canada and the United States that the holiday truly lit up. Many of the figures and characters of Halloween have very ancient origins, but were brought to life in the works of Victorian authors and modern movie makers. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I, Justin from Fire of Learning, wish you a happy Halloween.
Don't gotta get pumpkin,
These
gotta go
YouTube
pumpkin
stories
patch.
don't talk about anything else before. I just did a whole documentary history of a holiday and culture, which, by the way, I hope you enjoy. If so, I invite you to come check out the rest of Fire Building and to subscribe to see more videos like this in the future. To help with the cost of producing these videos, a donation on Patreon would be a big help. I will definitely not blow it on a whole bunch of Halloween candy. A special thanks to our current Patreon supporters, once again listed here. We are also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, so come check us out there.
This guy, we've watched him,
Thank you
really good.
for watching.
Right? Like, I could do a book report, right? Look in the Wicca PDF stuff. It's not the same thing. Alexa, she don't know. Alexa. Sometimes she, like, okay, but no, not the same thing. Alexa don't work. Alexa work, like, okay, she worked 4 days in a row. But what about the past 3 weeks? And then she still don't understand. Right? Watch. Alexa, what is Halloween? Right? Thanks. Hey, the ghosts. So they're going to eat all that. They like that cat food. That one, we got it from the feed store. And then we got a different kind. They seem to like that one. Maybe we'll start getting that one, so I don't have to buy all these small ones. And then you guys all eat and share. And that's it. Do you guys have a song? Oh, good night, Patty. I'm tired too. I didn't do anything. Have a good night, Patty, love. So good to see you. Yes. You have a wonderful evening. I'm going to listen to some music. I think I have one more beer and then go sleep. What is it? Oh, let's watch this one. We're going to watch more history stuff. Should we listen to music? We think it's Sunday. Yesterday we had Johnny Cash and stuff. It was like Sunday we didn't listen to anything. The Rolling Stones got a new album. We were watching Good Morning America or something. The Rolling Stones gonna have a new album, right? So I'm hoping, they have something like, because their last albums haven't been up to par to like when they were in the beginning. So I'm hoping they have something really good. Wouldn't it be great? Astrology and the secrets in the stars. Well, where is the moon? Oh, we were going to listen to some music. Stargazer, right? We didn't hear that.
We started our design company during school, which is not how it's usually done. Chased her business, built along with us.
Oh. Let's just see. Let's see the beginning. We'll play some music.
Since the beginning of time, humanity has looked to the heavens for the answers to earthly problems. Do the movements of the stars and planets hold the secrets to human destiny? Can the patterns of the stars reflect the hidden character of individuals based on the date and time of their birth? Astrology, predicting the future by the movements of celestial bodies, has been with us for over 4,000 years.
Some people are really into that. Me, not so much, but somewhat.
Yet for countless centuries, millions of people have believed in it. They point to tantalizing evidence from history. In the mid-1930s, some believe a German astrologer predicted the rise of Hitler, a decade before he came to power. Centuries earlier, during the Renaissance, a visionary is said to have foretold that the imprisoned Princess Elizabeth would someday sit on the throne of England. Scholars now examine how a belief in astrology may have led 3 wise men to follow the Star of Bethlehem. Modern science is subjecting astrology to closest scrutiny.
Right, even the birth of Christ has to do with astrology.
Startling results.
All the planets lined up or something properly.
Is belief in the power of the stars merely a baseless superstition, mankind's oldest truth. Before the
We cannot have cans like this outside,
ancient people
right?
relied
I'll tell you
on
why.
basic knowledge
Because-
of the stars and planets for their very survival.
A baby cat, he'd be
Many
hungry,
sites around the
he'd
world
stick his
speak of
head in the
astrology's
can.
earliest
and
beginnings.
he'd be like Buckethead.
The
or some
origins of
shit,
astrology
right?
might even go back
No.
more than
The
20,000
only
years
reason
to
is
the
because
Paleolithic.
Blue did that
Because there
shit.
are
We saved him,
carvings
the
on
poor thing.
bones and other objects that indicate perhaps early interest in
You cannot
lunar
have cans like
talents,
that outside.
emotions of the moon.
Baby cat, he not too bright. He stick his head in there, and then he can't breathe.
The astrology
Luckily,
practiced today
We
was
saw the
born
can
over
stuck on
4,000
Blue's head, the
years
poor
ago
thing.
in the fertile crescent of Mesopotamia, now modern day.
He was all dehydrated or whatever. I got to pet him for a minute, but still,
Ancient
I
civilizations
thought he was gonna die, the poor
created
thing.
some of the world's first cities and developed early
So we
agriculture.
cannot leave cans like that outside no more.
They were also among the first to turn sky watching into a codified system of astrology, a method which remains basically unchanged even now. The Babylonian system of astrology might have been lost forever if Alexander the Great had not taken its study back to Greece after his conquest of Mesopotamia.
When Alexander the Great invaded the East in 331 BC, this was a momentous event because he introduced Babylonian astrology to the Greeks and Greek mathematics and observational astronomy to the Babylonians. And the result was basically what we know today as astrology.
Babylonian priests saw astrology as the works of the gods. Later, Greek philosophers applied astrology to reveal individual character and personality. By the dawn of Christianity, the Roman Empire had succeeded the Greek and inherited its passion for astrology. As the Romans marched through Europe, astrology went with them. But historians often wonder why astrology was readily embraced by so many. Society easily accepted it, from peasants to emperors. One Roman ruler would select his astrologers by subjecting candidates to a test that could cost them their lives.
But the poor guy, he said the world is round and not flat, and you crucified him.
Quaint story about
Right.
Tiberius Caesar hiring a personal astrologer named Thrasyllus. Tiberius tested his astrologers in a very peculiar way. What he would do is submit them to a test, and if they didn't pass
I
the
don't know
test,
what year it was.
Cliff.
But the guy reminded me of someone. Because they said, hey, fucker,
I see that I am in
they said-
death, O Caesar. I know not from what cause.
all you have to do
That's right. And Caesar
is
said the
say
equivalent in Latin of your hire.
the world is flat.
And Thrasyllus
We'll let you go.
served
You won't have to
Tiberius
rot
for
in
the rest of
prison.
Tiberius' life.
And I don't know what he said, but he said something to the
While the
effect, fuck you,
fascination
the
of
world's round.
astrology
And
thrived
died in
in
prison.
Europe, other cultures around the world
Like,
also
no.
study the prophetic patterns of the stars.
I don't have time for your bullshit. I just do not.
Scholars devised
They said, we'll kill you.
associating each year
Die and rot.
constellation charts kept by
Tortured.
stargazers for Chinese
Iron
emperors
Maiden.
are some
or
of the
something.
earliest astrological artifacts ever discovered.
And the guy's all, fuck you, I'm a real astronomer. He said, fuck you, the world's round.
On the other side of the world,
Fuck.
the ancient Maya of Mexico and Guatemala create an elaborate calendar with incredible accuracy.
Pretty much crucified the poor guy.
The ancient Maya
He could have lied or
developed
whatever
probably the
he
world's
didn't
most
believe. He could have
elaborate
said, oh, the world's flat,
astronomical
fuck you, and then go
system.
outside, go, fuck you, the world's round. But he's all like, no, I'm a little too honest or something. But all the rest of the flat world believers, they said, off of his head, right?
You a lawman or an outlaw?
What the fuck is this?
Oh.
Bit of both, I reckon.
I bet both.
Man with a good gun,
Look here, I'm talking like I'm a bit of both.
straight's fine.
Alright.
You up to the task? I wouldn't be sitting here in my Sunday best if it wasn't.
Around these parts, we might be men. They're just killers. All thieves.
I took an oath to protect everyone. I ain't about to quit this.
You find a home for yourself, what would you do to hold on to protect it?
You get to the count of 5, get the hell off my land.
Lady, you got 2 shells in that bird killer.
Then I just shoot you twice. Just to be safe.
Girl, I get to do.
We'll get it, girl.
You loyal. You ain't afraid of much.
Alright, fuck you. I'm gonna die. Take him out.
Ready to ride.
I know it's a movie, but it's really sad with what's going on in the world today. Like, we got a couple wars. They don't really tell you about Syria or the other one.
I'm warning you. Your wicked days are done.
It looked pretty good. It was a black cowboy, like, you know.
Unlock the world of Adopt Me in real life. Characters
They
and
said
pets from the
we're
game
gonna get a
are
white
available
man,
to collect.
a blackface,
Run
play
the
black
collection one at a
cowboy,
time, or
right?
get the pet multi-pack.
White man playing
12's the first
native.
black
I
pack.
get it when like
Adopt Me
Hollywood
from
does that
Jazzwares,
stuff.
each sold
Like,
separately.
what? But then again, like Breakfast at Tiffany's, the one guy, he Japanese, like whatever. I don't get it.
Contained your fortune,
But
contained your
it's
fate
I
for the
get
rest
it,
of your life,
but
and you
no.
took part of your name from the day that you were born in this calendar.
So what you do? It's Mayan. A whole different culture.
While the chronological accuracy of the
The
Mayan
South
calendar
was different
is
from the
well known to
North.
archaeologists,
The original
much more
people from
mysterious is the
America
Mayan
is different.
system of prophecy.
That South different. I'm Northern, so mine
In the early
came
16th
across
century,
from
it
the
was
Bering
predicted
Strait or
that
something
bearded,
different.
light-skinned visitors would
You
arrive
have
from
a
the
certain
east,
pocket.
but the
That's
specific
like the
time of
South.
their expected appearance
But no,
lies years in the future.
North America. Try. People.
The Maya lived to see the prophecy fulfilled.
But totally different
In
cultures.
1519, exactly as predicted, bearded, light-skinned people from the east set foot on the shores of Mexico. They are the conquistadors from Spain. The Mayan calendar may also hold a disturbing prophecy for the modern world.
I think so. It's only been 13 years
Over
later.
2,000 years ago, Mayan astrologers calculate the date of the end of the world, a doomsday which is believed will take place in our own time.
It's just starting. It's 13 years later. Let's do the math. Let's see the
The
14th
Maya
year.
determined that the universe
15th
is
year.
destroyed and then
16th.
recreated in regular cycles, once every 5,000 years.
Maybe the robots will say this. I don't know.
This great 5,000-year cycle comes to an end soon. Probably most of us will live to see this. The
Oh,
date
like
should be about
1999?
December 21st, 2012.
I have
And
that
although
album.
the ancient classic Maya civilization came to an end in roughly the 9th century
Then it
AD,
starts over. It doesn't
if
end. It
those
starts
calendar
over.
priests were here to see it
It
today,
ends and then
they would
starts over.
probably expect that in 2012, around the winter solstice, that our cosmos as we perceive it would come to an end and some profound new order would be established.
But that's your
Did
interpretation.
Mayan astrologers foresee a catastrophe
It
as
starts
yet
over like
undetected
any
by
year.
modern science?
Find out for 5,000 years.
It is an ancient riddle to which the answer may soon be known.
We're in the 13th year.
The Romans and Mayans were not the only ancient people to see signs written in the stars.
Oh no,
Even
21st year.
sacred texts
20.
bear reference to the influence of astrology. Did the heavens foretell the coming
11
of
years. So not even 13
What
years.
is the
11
star
years
of
later.
Bethlehem that is said
Do
to
the math.
herald his birth?
So we're waiting for the 12th year. So then what do you think? By the year the 13th? Different calendars.
References
Chinese have different calendars.
In a surprising place
Persians
in
have
the
different
pages of the Holy
Hebrews.
Bible.
Some are solar, some are lunar. But around astrology, the moon,
Evidence
different
also
calendar,
lies here,
sun,
in the ancient ruins of
different
the Holy
calendar.
Land.
Right. But around the
In
stars, or the moon, or
1932,
something.
archaeologists unearthed a 4th century synagogue.
Unless you believe the world's flat. Well, then,
To their
whenever I'm a little crow
they
back
also
up, yeah,
unearthed something
whenever I'll
totally
ride my bike
unexpected.
off the edge. Let's go.
In the very center of the temple, they find a beautiful mosaic of the zodiac.
The zodiac.
Its discovery baffles scholars who have long believed that astrology was strictly forbidden in Judaism.
Gorgeous. Right. I have one more round.
There shall not be
Oh, thank goodness.
any that practice divination, or an observer of times,
And then there
or
were always
enchantment.
wars.
For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord.
Abomination stuff.
Deuteronomy 18:10.
If Judaism frowned upon astrology,
Susan.
how then did the zodiac become the centerpiece of a synagogue?
Of the synagogue?
Some
Astrology.
scholars now believe that contrary to
What year?
long-held belief, astrology may not have been forbidden in ancient Israel.
The relationship of the ancient Hebrews or Israelites to astrology is a rather complicated one. What the Bible actually condemns is the worship of stars as if they were gods. The Bible has absolutely no problem with the idea of the stars being the messengers of
Kabbalism.
God,
What about that?
or symbols of the will of God.
Unlike earlier civilizations, Judaism did not see astrology merely as a means of prophecy. The temple zodiac may have been a symbolic portrayal of the great cycle of the year and the presence of a supreme
Greeks do
being
that.
among the
This
stars.
is Hebrew?
Some scholars see the New
Different
Testament
calendars.
as
The
the
Chinese
place where
got different
astrology
calendars.
plays a more active role in human affairs.
Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and have come to worship him. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. Matthew 2:1.
It's the biblical stuff.
The story is one of the best loved of all religious tales. How 3 wise men from the east see a bright new star in the heavens.
Oh, Christmas.
They follow the star to Bethlehem, where they discover a manger. Inside, they recognize a newborn child as the Messiah and offer him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, paying homage to the child as their Redeemer. What was the Star of Bethlehem? Could it have been an actual astronomical event? And who were the mysterious wise men or magi?
But what
who
star was
followed
it?
The star.
Was it Beetlejuice?
The 3 magi of this story were definitely
The
astrologers.
North Star.
And observing the
Santa
conjunction
Claus.
of Jupiter and Saturn in Pisces,
Jupiter
they may
and
have
Saturn.
thought like this. Pisces traditionally ruled Judea. Saturn traditionally signified the Jews. And Jupiter definitely signifies king.
I thought it was Greek, but it goes way back to the Hebrews.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post 9/11 veterans realize what's
this is a
possible.
good one too.
With generous community support, we bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing, to get the help you need, to find peace.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning.
The Wounded Warrior Project.
As kingship. So they may well have deduced that the king of the Jews was being born in Judea.
In Judea. Where is it exactly? Bethlehem.
The question remains, what did they see in the sky? Were they witnesses to an extraordinary astronomical event? An exploding star or supernova? 20 centuries later, the question still sparks controversy.
There are rationalist historians, and I'm not entirely sure I disagree with them, who question that there was such a phenomenon at all. There are a number of things we can eliminate immediately. It was not a supernova, because there are none recorded by anybody else at the time in question. It was probably not a comet, because that would have been noticed by other people.
It was not until the 17th century that the father of modern astronomy, Johannes Kepler, devises a radical theory to answer the riddle of the Star of Bethlehem. In the early 1600s, Kepler observes a rare conjunction of the planets Jupiter and Saturn. They appear to the naked eye as a single dazzling new star. Kepler calculates that
Look
the
how
last
beautiful.
time this dramatic conjunction had taken
It's old
place
art.
was the year 7, before the Common Era.
The year 7.
Is this the actual date of Jesus' birth? Could this have been the Star of Bethlehem? Some astrologers assert that someone born on the date of the star in 7 BCE is potentially a person capable of making a lasting impact on history.
So it connects?
Kepler suggests
It does, the
that
two planets connect.
was this conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter.
Saturn and Jupiter,
It took
they
place in 7
connect
BC.
from Earth visually.
And
like,
it
in the
seems
7th
he was right
BC or
about that.
something.
And
The planets line up or something.
The fascinating
right?
thing is that if you draw up a birth chart or a nativity,
That one different
of somebody
than
born
eclipse.
on the 22nd
Planets.
of August, 7 BC, every single planet is in its own sign, the sign that it naturally rules, the sun, the moon, Mercury, and so on, which would be an extraordinary birth chart to have.
A birth chart, right? Because when you're born on that day, when the thing crossed the thing,
Astrologers
or
believe that
something,
someone born
eclipse,
under this
whatever,
conjunction of the planets
solstice,
would
right?
be destined to change the world.
Different astrological stuff.
Though astrology was frowned upon by Christianity, over the centuries, belief in the power of the stars steadily grew.
Right? Because magic and
By the Middle
supernatural
Ages,
stuff.
astrology was part of the curriculum taught at European universities. Rulers often based decisions of state on astrologers' advice.
How's everyone doing? Are you guys watching me? We're watching TV. You can't watch it.
Centuries, Europe witnesses an unrivaled flowering of art, science, and exploration.
Where is it?
In this period of cultural ferment, astrology...
I'm drunk. I don't want you guys watching me.
During the Renaissance, there is perhaps no more intriguing figure than Dr. John Dee. Astrology enables him to foretell the destiny of a queen. Born during the reign of King Henry VIII, Dee is one of the finest mathematicians and scientists of his time. His study of optics lays the groundwork for Galileo's first telescope. The year is 1555. Though Dee is widely known as an astrologer, he is nevertheless surprised when he receives a summons to draw up a horoscope for an unusual client. None other than a member of the royal family, Princess Elizabeth.
Oh, the Princess Elizabeth.
England is in the throes of a succession struggle, and this youngest daughter of Henry VIII has been placed under house arrest. Queen Mary feels threatened by the young princess, and it is rumored that Elizabeth is scheduled for execution. Fearing for her life, the desperate Elizabeth summons Dee to predict her future. Is she destined for the execution block, or will she survive her ordeal?
John Dee was a remarkable character in 16th century England. He was very learned in many disciplines that might today strike us as an odd combination: mathematics, but also magic, astronomy, but also astrology.
Dee learns the time and date of the imprisoned princess's birth and begins to calculate her chart. What Dee discovers astonishes him. To Elizabeth's amazement, Dee reports that instead of execution, she faces a very different fate. According to her astrological chart, she is destined to become
the Queen, right? Or something. Jackson
become queen.
The Queen.
Learning of the prophecy, Elizabeth's rival, Queen Mary, throws Dee into prison for heresy and treason, sentencing him to be burned at the stake. But the sentence is never carried out. Incredibly, as Dee had predicted, Queen Mary dies suddenly and Elizabeth ascends to the throne. In gratitude, Elizabeth appoints John Dee, England's royal astrologer. He would counsel the Queen on important decisions throughout her reign.
Wow.
Queen Elizabeth I asked him to pick a propitious day for her coronation, which he did. You might draw the conclusion, in view of how successful her reign was, that he picked the right day.
Was Dee's horoscope an accurate prediction based on the stars, or simply a shrewd political guess? We may never know. But we do know that in the 15th and 16th centuries, throughout the world, astrology was entering a golden age. However, new discoveries in the heavens made possible by the invention of the telescope create an ever-widening gap between the science of astronomy and the art of astrology. One of the key figures in
I'll tell you a story. I bugged my friend's landlord, right? He got a toilet paper roll telescope, right? It take him 10 minutes to focus, but when he focused, like cardboard telescope, like toilet paper roll telescope, you can see the rings of Saturn. I shit you, I would bug the fuck out of it. Oh, let's see it, right? What kind of not like that one? That one old as fuck. This one fucking made out of a toilet paper roll.
In 1608, at his observatory near Prague, Kepler draws up a horoscope for Albrecht von Wallenstein, a young Czech military officer. The chart shows that Wallenstein is a Libra, and that Mars, the planet of war, features prominently in his life.
He is alert, eager, and restless, with scorn and indifference toward human laws and conventions. Unmerciful, belligerent, and fearless.
Unmerciful.
He will be capable of great deeds. Johannes Kepler, 1608.
The analysis will prove amazingly prophetic. Wallenstein goes on to become a triumphant general in the 30 Years' War, and then the most powerful military leader in Europe. He bases key decisions in his career on Kepler's astrological chart. In 1632, Wallenstein reaches the height of his power. On the night before an important battle, he meets with an astrologer for a reading. The stargazer issues an ominous warning. Despite Wallenstein's military superiority, the portents for the coming battle are unfavorable. The next day, as predicted, Wallenstein's forces are defeated. Was this another self-fulfilling prophecy brought on by Wallenstein's own superstitious belief in astrology? Or was it something more? Whatever it was, the defeat of his troops destroys Wallenstein's career. Later, he is murdered by his own soldiers in the very month that Kepler had predicted 26 years earlier. Despite Kepler's personal belief in the powers of the zodiac, astrology now loses favor as astronomy becomes the accepted science for the study of the stars.
The accepted science.
By the 20th century, science and society view astrology from a new perspective.
Oh, commercial.
For memories that last and produce that lasts long.
All right, let me try to pay attention. Who's in here? Hey, Charlotte. Good night, Charlotte. Stugitz. Oh, good night, Stugitz. PB. I know it's late. John Jacobs, 818. We're gonna finish my last beer and then we're gonna eat. Thank God I don't have to go out. Maybe we'll go to McDonald's tomorrow.
The study of how the heavenly bodies influence our lives and personalities. Books and magazines on the subject are perennial bestsellers. Every major newspaper in the country prints a horoscope column. While millions believe in this ancient art, many more vehemently deny its validity. And yet, the question persists. Could this centuries-old practice reveal anything about our lives today?
It's a very, very powerful transit. I'm not surprised that you've just gotten your PhD because it's a very much of a Jupiter kind of a quality. And
Susie Cox is a professional astrologer. Her clients include celebrities, lawyers, and business leaders.
really the trick for you to make money and to feel real successful is to do what you love. It's not like, oh, well, I'll get a job and I'll do that. That doesn't really work for you.
She believes astrology to be a complex synthesis of science and psychology.
Astrology is the study of the planetary cycles and how that correlates with human patterns and behaviors in life. I think it's also a tool for self-understanding and personal growth. And I think it's also an ancient symbolic language that astrologers translate into easy words for people.
About 4,000 years ago, the ancient Babylonians living in what is today Iraq were among the first to develop astrology.
I want to name my coffee bar Babylon. Is that bad? The Babylonians you Americans can't name their coffee bar that. Hello, name on. We don't want it to be in Babylon. We want it to be in a small town, like whatever. 420 friendly, somewhere.
The sun would rise with
Humboldt County or something.
In March and April, the dominant constellation is Aries, in a pattern which was defined as a ram. The stars of Taurus rise next, and are visualized as a bull. Later, the Greeks believed that each constellation exerts an effect on those born under its influence.
Chinese have that too, different.
Modern astrology is based on a combination of Babylonian and Greek, and is guided by the same belief in the power of the stars. What makes this ancient practice so popular in our high-tech computer age? Is it because people are looking for answers that science cannot provide? Or is it because, as professional astrologers insist, that astrology works?
I've done 26,000 charts over the years, and I've learned that every person connects with their chart. All someone has to do is observe and pay attention, and you realize it does work.
Like my friend Rhea, she into that stuff, right?
But many critics
I swear to God,
that science
she'll go, "Oh, you're this, you're Leo, you're." She'll get wrong. I've seen her get it wrong, like once or twice.
Well, we know that astrology
Not
can't
100%, but 98% of the time, I swear to God, she'll go, "Oh, you're this,"
with a viewpoint
and they'll be like, "Yeah, like Trip."
Physics.
Really into that.
The Hydroxy got hardcore ultimate
Like there were
I've lost 25
a couple
pounds,
times, but that's
and I
it.
just feel better than ever.
Every other time, it was like on the money. Trip.
I mean, it's so good. I can wear it again.
Because you can't go, "Oh, yeah," and like 98% of the time, go, yeah.
Get this stack
And
today.
into that astrology
Achieve
stuff.
your goals.
So Trip.
The ultimate shredding stack.
Whether astrology is true or little more than superstition, the modern era has nevertheless proven to be a bonanza for professional astrologers. But how did this practice from the ancient world become so widespread in this century? In America, one extraordinary woman was responsible for thrusting astrology into mainstream popular culture. As a new century begins, the burgeoning young medium of radio would make a household name of Evangeline Adams, an astrologer who captures the public's attention. Her horoscopes would become valuable collector's items.
My great aunt had her astrology chart done in about 1927 by Evangeline Adams, and I happen to have her birth chart that she did. So I feel somehow I'm connected with Evangeline Adams through my great aunt.
For Adams, a trip to New York in 1899 would launch her amazing career.
Gypsies do that
Staying
a
at the
lot,
upscale Windsor
but not
Hotel,
like.
Adams draws up a horoscope for the hotel's owner. She predicts a terrible personal disaster in his immediate future. The owner laughs off her prediction, but the next day, when his hotel is destroyed by fire, he becomes a firm believer. Evangeline Adams escapes unharmed. Her remarkable prediction has made her fortune. Decades later, Adams will broadcast her astrological predictions on her own weekly radio show. Crowds mob her offices in Carnegie Hall, requesting readings.
The music they play is all like Twilight Zone or some shit.
In 1914, Adams is arrested, and charged with violating an obscure New York City law against fraud by fortune tellers.
Oh, yo, Gypsy.
But rather than pay the trivial fine,
Huh?
Adams insists the case go to court.
Oh, she went to court.
Suddenly, astrology itself is on trial. The case reaches its climax when the prosecutors put Adams to the ultimate test. They ask her to interpret an anonymous horoscope. She renders a detailed personality profile from the birth chart, ending in a prediction that the individual will face an early death from water. Only then does the astonished judge reveal that the horoscope is that of his own son, who had recently died in a swimming accident.
Aww.
The judge admits that Adams' profile is uncannily accurate and proclaims from the bench that she has raised astrology to a science. The case is dismissed.
Wow.
Defendant dismissed.
Could there have been more to Adams' predictions than simple luck?
Oh, I drank all my beer.
Still scoff.
Cheers.
She has
Who's still in here?
proven the effectiveness of astrology in a court of law.
Yes. Like, we would all like to think like John Lennon Christmas song, the war's no, the war's not over.
An even more grueling test.
Yeah. Get a grip. It's sad as fuck, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's just the beginning.
In the early 1920s, a German woman named Elsbeth Bertin cast a horoscope for the ideal man she believes could lead Germany to greatness.
I have some KFC. I'm drunk. I don't want you to watch me.
Germany's finest leader would have been born on April 20th, 1889.
We were thinking burgers, but whatever.
The story is widely publicized, then forgotten.
We got some root beer.
Only years later, when the Nazis rise to power, does Ebertine realize she has unknowingly named the birth date of Adolf Hitler.
Oh, our government is
perhaps. Or could Hitler have seen
Oh, we need some butter. Oh, we got honey.
convincing him of his destiny? Was it a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yes, we just have the Bible.
During World War II, rumors persist that Hitler uses an astrologer to plot his conquest of Europe. While the allegations are never proven, it is known that astrologers are consulted regularly by Hitler's inner circle, including Reichsmarschall Heinrich Himmler and Deputy Führer Rudolf Hess. But the influence of astrology on Hitler's Third Reich is short-lived.
It was understood by some astrologers that a configuration between the planets Uranus and Neptune,
It's not real
occurring
butter,
at the
but
time,
it's like
indicated
a
that it was
butter
favorable time to
spread
make peace
stuff.
with the English.
Butter spread.
And,
Buttery spread.
believing the English
Whatever.
would work with Germany if only they could find an understanding, flew over, landed in a parachute, was rounded up by the British, and spent the rest of the war.
We got root beer.
in
Not
jail.
very good. Fine.
Hitler is furious and blames the humiliating incident on Hess's obsession with astrology.
So we got KFC. Thank goodness I love KFC.
In
I'll tell you one of the best KFC, other than when I was a kid. Like,
Shortly
Gracie
after,
got Grubhub or something delivered to the thing. Oh my god, it was the best ever.
And that pretty much ended.
It was
the
like,
influence of
are you
astrology.
kidding me?
Right.
It was in heaven. And then, who was it? Patricia, someone, like, oh.
With the war's end, the world's passion for astrology continues to grow.
Maybe those certain days we gotta get
What
astrologer.
accounts for the continuing
Say,
belief in
well,
the power of the
good
stars?
day.
And how can the accuracy of astrologers' predictions...
What day should I go to Vegas? Like,
Does science hold the key to the mystery?
I just have to.
Since the 1700s, astrology has fallen into disrepute.
Get the bird out.
Today, the scientific community regards it as little more than empty superstition.
I'm a little lit. I'm gonna.
Well, we know that astrology can't work according to new laws of physics. We know in physics that there are basically four forces
But then we have
the behavior of matter:
mashed potatoes.
gravitation, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear interactions. And none of those things can possibly account for any of the claims that astrologers make.
But perhaps the universe is made of stranger stuff. What else could account for the apparent accuracy of astrology? Scientists, however, dismiss most of the apparent evidence as mere coincidence.
There are no coincidences.
Over the years, numerous studies have debunked astrology. In one often repeated test, subjects are given the wrong astrological profiles and asked if the horoscope matches their own personalities. Aries were given Libra personality traits, and Libras labeled as having Capricorn qualities. In every test, the vast majority of subjects said they recognized themselves in the false horoscopes, discrediting the validity of astrology.
I'm hungry.
In a study at Indiana
hoping
University,
this is enough.
6 professional astrologers were given horoscopes of 23 test subjects and asked to match the astrological descriptions with the personality traits of the volunteers. The results? Not one of the astrologers were successful.
What they found was that there was no correlation between the personality traits and the horoscopes. Moreover, the astrologers didn't agree with each other. What they're talking about is something that isn't a rational scientific worldview. If you really believe that the laws of physics govern everything there is, then there's no hope for something like astrology to make any sense.
But one research study came up with startling results that shocked the scientific community. In 1953,
Oh, I forgot to take the bread out.
Michel Gauquelin decided
this
to put
bread,
astrology
the
to his
biscuit.
own rigorous test.
We're gonna put this. It's not real butter. It's like a buttery spread. I don't care.
Regarding this ancient science,
We like real butter.
Gauquelin hoped that his
We don't have real
expert
butter
command of
right now.
statistics
Put this
could
on
finally lay to rest
on the
the
biscuit.
claims of astrologers. To Gauquelin's surprise, his study proved the opposite. There was a statistical correlation between the stars and the personalities and career choices of his subjects.
Well, then we have some honey.
Gauquelin's study showed that a statistically significant percentage of politicians were born when Jupiter, the planet of rulership, was rising at the moment of their birth. The astrological charts of doctors and scientists seemed to be marked by the presence of Saturn, the planet of reflection and study. Mars, the planet of war and courage, showed an above-average presence in the charts of generals,
So we got some
athletes, and
KFC.
business executives.
See.
The fascinating thing about these
Yum
results
yum.
that they were fully in line with traditional
Oh, we got root beer.
understandings of the planets.
And stuff.
So Mars was the planet that showed up with athletes and soldiers and so on. And those results still stand today.
I don't want you to watch me eat, but we gotta say grace, Skip. Thanks for this wonderful meal, KFC. Yum yum. I'm so happy. I lost my appetite earlier, but I have it right now.
Practitioners hope to use the latest information from space exploration to enhance their understanding.
Oh, yum yum. Thank goodness for this wonderful Sunday dinner. My Sunday brunch, actually. Oh, amen.
Pulsars.
Bless it.
There are some astrologers that are using a lot of different asteroids and putting it around the chart. So it's not just the planets.
Some believe that future space missions will make new discoveries that may offer deeper insight into astrology. Are these
So it's just the original
that
KFC.
astrology can change with the times? Or are they simply an attempt to add a pseudo-scientific flavor
Oh, where's
to
my
ancient
mashed
superstition? Despite the centuries-old battle between believers and skeptics, astrology continues to fascinate millions. The question still remains, what has given this 4,000
Mashed
year old
potatoes.
practice such lasting
We
appeal?
have biscuits with honey, right?
I think
Not real
astrology
butter, but who
is still
cares?
so popular today in an era of science because it contains all that mystery of a powerful and ancient system, which has a great appeal to us. I think its roots really lie in human nature itself, our basic need for a relationship with the sky and with the rhythms of the heavens and cosmos.
So why would people turn to astrology? Even powerful people, even world leaders today.
I love
I can only
KFC.
speculate, of course, because I can't see into anyone's mind, but I would guess it's because people are looking for something of more depth, something more substantive than what science can offer.
What I believe in is
What
the
kind of
right
science?
of people to believe in astrology if they want to, and if they find it useful and valuable in their lives. If astrology points to the mystery of what it means to be alive, that's a perpetual mystery which will never be solved. And in that sense, astrology is a mystery that will never arrive at a final resolution.
For 4,000 years, astrology has intrigued humanity with the tantalizing possibility that we can predict the future.
And then I like to put these biscuits in the mashed potatoes, right? So we got honey and
Those science
bootleg butter, but we got mashed potatoes. Yum
The
yum.
notion that the stars could influence human destiny continues to work its spell on each new generation. The interpretation of the starry heavens is still enveloped in mystery. Mystery as boundless as the glittering night sky itself, and as enduring as humanity's quest to unlock the secrets of the universe.
Oh, that was a wonderful history. I don't know why I like watching this stuff. I want to say the Mosaic Zodiac thing. Nah. Well, we're just couch potatoing it. I'm a little drunk. I'm eating now. I'm trying to sober up. Oh, hello, baby cat. What are you doing? Meow. Alright, you want some chicken? Alright, hold on. This is KFC chicken. I'm munching out. Pretty out. Do you want to watch a movie, little varmint? This root beer kind of, I don't know why, but it upsets my stomach. But I love to drink it. I know you could eat the bones, but I'm trying to eat them right now. We think pretty good? Huh? A little hot. You want some? Hey, don't do that. I'm gonna smack you. Varmint. Do you want to watch a movie? We have to give the other one some. Okay. That one got more fat. Here, you eat that. No, not for you. For the other cat, fucker. I don't like KFC. The one cat does. The other one, the other one's gonna eat it. That's okay, you don't have to eat it. I'll eat it. No more for you. We just need another side. Like I like their coleslaw, right? Don't really like coleslaw, but KFC coleslaw. Love that stuff. Uh-oh. Alright, we're gonna watch a movie. Do you want to watch a movie, you little varmints? Let's follow this one.
I need your breakfast to mount a reindeer.
What? Why are you like this?
Thank you so much, baby.
Need some water.
Look. Wow. Merry Christmas.
Hey!
What's Christmas without a little terror?
place. What's your
Alright, we
Christmas
want to skip. Skip. Fuck. I want to watch a movie. So we munching out on KFC. Thank goodness. I love KFC. You get some better. They're pretty good. Fast food. Some people like different, you know. I want to go to Chick-fil-A, but I love KFC. Paramount Pictures presents baby cat. Baby cat. You don't want that chicken fat? Fuck, I'll eat it. I love that show. I have to eat it. You don't want it? You don't get no more. You better eat it, you little fucker. We gave him a prawn from Panda Express. It sat out there all night till the next morning, and then it disappeared. You don't get no one. Oh, let's turn this down. It's late. Alexa, what time is it? I have to wake up early tomorrow.
The time is 10:08 p.m.
Okay. So, my hours have changed. I get to leave early. I have to show up earlier. So I get to open it up tomorrow.
Get ready with Dyson, using our patented technology. Dry, curl and shape using Coanda airflow and no extreme heat. Give the gift of invention in special edition blue blush with exclusive accessories. Only at Dyson.
Oh, baby cat. Meow. The baby cat's playing with me. Okay, hold on.
You a lawman or an outlaw?
Bit of both, I reckon. I need a man with a good gun and a straight spine. You up for the task? I wouldn't be sitting here in my Sunday best if it wasn't.
Around these parts, we might be men. They're just killers. All thieves.
I took an oath to take care of them.
Get to the count of 5 and get the hell off my land.
You got 2 shells in that bird killer.
Then I'll just shoot you twice. Just be safe.
How do I get to do what you do? You're loyal. You ain't afraid of much. The real power not beneath the badge.
Pretty good, huh?
I thought you'd never ask.
Oh, I'm so happy I got KFC now. That's wonderful.
I'm warning you. Your wicked days are
We're doing something better, right? Yum. What do you think, a little varmint? We're watching Tomb Raider.
And over there, Christos. They're all coming. All except one. All right. Follow Christos. When he dies, we die. Maybe we'll get lucky and find whatever it is down there. Hey, look at that, Jimmy. Look. Why is it just slowing down?
Hello, boys. You're all wet.
Half the world's raiders are already here. And you make us wait.
We're gonna root beer.
Now, folks, don't so discuss about it. What does everybody think is down there?
I think it's the lunatic.
My sons, if you saw the television, forget it.
It's a temple built by Alexander the Great.
Who's
Yeah.
don't know? Yeah.
Alexander collected treasures from all over the world. He stored them in 2 places. The majority went to his library in Egypt. But his most prized possessions went here. The Lunar Temple. By law, no one was allowed to record its location. And in 330 BC, it was
Well, the sea.
destroyed during a volcanic eruption. Lost forever.
Yeah.
Continues. Even half the temple is intact. It will still be the greatest find since the pyramids.
The others head into this area here, along this shelf.
That's based on the camera.
Yes.
It's geology. Taken 2 hours after the quake. The epicenter was here, 5 miles northeast of us. Look at currents along the shelf now.
Wait, they've shifted. So, while they're all dying now, the ruins will actually be...
Here.
Let's go.
I have a thing with honey and bootleg butter. A biscuit.
First, that is not enough to determine its location. Then God wipes it from the earth with a volcano. Now even the currents change. Now, maybe these temples weren't meant to be found.
We want real butter. Root beer, we love root beer. Mm-hmm. I'm so hungry I can't eat another one.
It's unbelievable. Jimmy, this is wonderful. Oh my God. Nicky, look at this. You're going to be rich. Hey Lara, what do you say to two handsome drink partners?
When you find two, let me know.
Hey, she's talking about you. No, you.
Look, I'm so hungry I could eat another one. Trying it. Alright. Yum yum. I'm gonna get rid of this. Alright, I'm sorry, that's it. I have no more.
What's she doing?
So they still have a lot of cat food. I'm so happy because Sundays, sometimes I, believe it or not, I get burnt out. And then Sunday I get to do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Wonderful.
Are you a married man? Yes, sir. If your wife died, who would get her? I went to school. Do you?
I'm here to see about these murders.
Well, this is the new movie, Flower Moon.
I don't like talking to you. There was no investigation.
So he's getting older. He looks still really good. Scorsese is directing it, but it's a brutal movie. It's not like the Barbie movie. Right? Opposite. Friday. So this Friday. Oh, we went to Carl's Jr. darn it.
Spicy pepper jack cheese, Santa Fe sauce, and a whole shot of Anaheim chili. You get the new smoky sweet Carl's Jr. Big Jar
Oh,
chili.
hello, baby cat. Meow. Go night night now. How come you eat that? You let the other cat eat it. What, Robert, you don't like it? Huh? You don't get no breakfast. You gotta eat that first. No breakfast. You gotta eat that first. Okay. Oh, the yellow friend. The movie's not that good. It's like a B movie, so we don't really pay attention to it. Whatever. The video's good. Ready to go to bed. Alexa, what time is it? Lazy, so lazy today. Oh, swim. Just keep swimming. She believed it was a shark. He said, yum, yum. Oh, he don't like humans, but he liked blood. He like a vampire. Oh, she punched him in the nose. Oh, that's the cat. The cat, what are you doing? The varmint? He got fingers in, silly. Oh, just keep swimming. We're gonna burnt out now. Look at the varmint. Don't you want to get on it? She's just holding on to it. You want to get on top of it, stupid ass. Laura Croft, right? Hey, John Jacobs, BB, still good? I'm gonna go to sleep. Blazer. Fuck yeah. Everyone have a good night. We're watching Laura Croft in the Tomb Raider. Let's see what she looked like.
Whether it be sarin gas, the sack, prototype or
I have to wake up early tomorrow. I didn't think about it, but I do. Tomorrow's another day, and we'll get on it and waddle. Today was one of those days where a day of rest, we didn't have to do anything. Just a whole lot of nothing. Wonderful. Now we get to just chill out, watch Tomb Raider. Hey, Glenn, good night. Cheers, everyone. Have a good night. Loving you guys.